In this video, we'll be looking into order rules and how they will all work with your order processes. So what we're going to do is from our dashboard, we are going to go to settings at the top right hand side of our page. When we come through to settings, we're then going to scroll down to our customer account settings section and into order rules. Once we come through to order rules, we'll then see all of our rules that are currently existing in the system if you have any that you've already input. So if we scroll down, we can see all of those that are there. We can scroll over to the right, and then over on the right hand side, we have the ability to copy our rules. We can edit our rules, and we can also delete our rules. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to go up to the top of the page, and we are going to click into Add New Rule. So when we click into Add New Rule, that will create us a blank rule in the system that we can then edit and we can create as we need to. So every time you hit Add New Rule, it will create a blank rule in the system. So the more you press it, the more blank rules are going to be created on the system for you. So then once you've created it, we can then go in and we can add our details of our rule. So first of all, we're going to select Client. So we can leave it assigned to all if all clients need to run these rules, but if you needed specific ones for specific clients, we can select them from our list. We can then also select our warehouse that this rule needs to run in. So I'm going to select my warehouse from the list. And then we have the option to select the channel that the rule needs to run based on. So again, we can leave that set to all channels, or we can select our specific channel we would like that to run on. So for my rule, I'm going to leave that set to all. Then below the channel, we have the option to select our action that needs to be taken when this rule runs. So as a standard, it will be selected on mark awaiting payment. However, you can then change that to select the one that you need. So we have the option for change courier service. So that will allow you to change your courier service based on your specific setup that you need it to. So we can run those based on order tags, order items, and the details that we need it to. If we keep coming down the list, we then have the option to generate additional documents. So if you have orders that contain gift messages that you would need to print out an extra bit of paperwork for, you can generate additional documents so that you can print those ones out with your orders. We have the option to populate packing notes, gift messages. We also have the option to add products to orders. Maybe if you have special offers, or if someone orders a certain item, they get another item free with it. We can add those products to the order automatically. And we also have the option to add rework items. So if you have products that need to go in specific boxes when they're sent out through the couriers, we can add rework items automatically, and these will auto assign to your orders. So for my rule, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a tag to my order. So I'm going to search for tag and use the add tag action. Then we have our condition types. So within there we have and. So if we use and, that means that every condition that you have set up would need to be there for the rule to run. Whereas if we use or, it's very loosely based. So or means that if one of your conditions is met, then it will run that order rule for you. So for mine, I'm going to use and. The parameter is the tag that I need it to add. It could be the courier service you need it to change to. It depends on what your action is, what this parameter needs to add or edit. So for my tag, I'm going to add fragile into there. So that is the tag that we need to add onto our order. Then we select our priority. So the priority is the order in which the order rules will run in the system. So we can sequence them from 1 to 100, 100 being the very last rule to run. As it says here, that is the top priority, so that is the last one to run. So this rule I'm setting as number 1, so that will be the first one to run in my sequence. Then we can set our order rule to active, so that will then run when we need it to. And then if we wanted to add comments, we can add comments in there. So if you were just having a general overview look at your order rules, you could see what this order rule relates to. So I'm just going to add a comment in there. There we go. So once we've added our comments and we've completed our top section of our order rules, we're going to hit update on there so that will then save our top list and our first initial details of our order rule. If you don't save and hit update at the top, when you come to add your conditions, when you add them, it will actually reset the top because it hasn't got that detail saved. So you must save and update at the top first. So once we've done that, we are now going to move on to adding our conditions in. So within the conditions, we have many different options that we can add. So we can first of all select the field. So within the field, this is the field on the order it is looking for to run this order rule. So it may be the courier service, it may be order item product names, total weights, gift messages, shipping zones, number of parcels. But the one I'd like to use for mine is my order item product SKUs. So I'm going to select that one. Then we need to select our operator. So the operator is where you would then say whether the field contains is equal, does not contain is greater than or less than. So maybe if you're running a rule that goes based on order weights, you would like to use greater than or less than. So for mine, I'm going to use contains. So my order item product SKU contains, and then in the value, I'm then going to add my order product SKU into there. So I will add my SKUs. So that's the first one. So now where I've added my condition, that has now created that one for me. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the field again, and I'm now going to add a second product into there. So it contains, and then I just need to add my product SKU and add that one in there. So once I've added my conditions, they will appear at the bottom here, so I can see which conditions I needed to run on. If you had multiple conditions that you needed to add, so if you had maybe 100 products that were all classed as fragile that you needed to add that rule for and that condition for, we could come up to our condition section and we go to upload condition, and we can then download our template. With our template opened, we can see we have the field, the operator, and the value. So all we would do is we would add that same detail that we popped into our conditions on the system, except we can just do it in bulk. So I'm going to pop my order item product SKUs, operator contains, and then I would just pop my product SKUs into here. So we can just do that on there. And then I could just drag this down to then be able to add multiple rules and add those in. So once you've done that, all you would need to do is close your template, choose the file, and then you could then upload your conditions into the system. So now we've added our rule and our conditions that we need for it to run. I'm now going to place an order so that we can see how those order rules will run. So I'm going to go to orders, input new order. I'm going to select my client and my warehouse, and I'm going to then select that one. So I just need to add my two products into my order that I've set my rule up for and added my conditions for it to run based on. So I'm going to add those to the cart, complete the order, and once we've added our details of our order, we're going to click Create Order. So when we click Create Order, we can then see our order is created and our rules would have then run in the background. So if I scroll to the right, I can see that my tag has added to my order for fragile. So with our tag on our rule, on our order added, we can then go to Actions, into Details, and we can go into History. So we can see that our tags and our order rules have run in their sequence that we have set up. So I have a separate order rule that will run for populating my packing notes. And we also have our rule that we just added that adds the tag to the order. So you can see that the conditions were met and it then added the tag. So for my packing notes one, I'm going to go to details and I can just scroll down to packing notes and we can see that one in there. So these rules will all automatically run in the background and they will all automatically assign onto our orders. So what we'll do is we'll go and put a second order rule into the system that we can then manually run. So if you do create rules after your orders have imported, you can still run those rules on those orders. It would just be done separately. So I'm going to go to my settings again, into order rules, and we're going to now add a new rule. So what we're going to do is we are going to change our courier service now based on the tag that we have on our order. So again, we can select our client, our warehouse, our channel. This time for the action, I'm going to select change courier service. The condition type is and then this time in the parameter, I'm going to put my courier service name that I would like it to change to. And I'm going to add that one in there. So after that, I'm going to set my priority to number 2. So this is the second rule to run after it looks at the order tag. I'm going to set that to active, and I'm then just going to add a comment so I can identify what this rule is for. So once we've added that one, I'm going to update my rule up the top. And then down the bottom in my conditions, I'm going to select the field. And this time I'm going to search for has order tag. The operator, I'm going to say contains. And in the value, I'm then going to add my tag of fragile. So once we've added that one, we can then add our condition. So now we have our rule in the system. So if I now go back to my order rules, we can see that we have got our rules down the bottom here that we've just created. So we've got the one for the fragile goods delivery. So we can see our comments over here. So I could just identify exactly what that rule is for. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to our orders overview. So orders and overview. And then this time we can see that my courier service is currently selected as 48-hour tracked. So I'm going to tick my order, and on my bulk actions drop down, I'm going to search for run order rules. Select that one from the list. And when I hit go, that's going to change my courier service from 48-hour tracked to fragile goods based on our order tag that we have on there. And that is our order rules, and that's how we can use them to make your order processing more efficient.